Hey guys, before we go any further, I just wanted to remind you that this is a spoilerific video. I said so in the thumbnail and it's in the description, but now I'm going to remind you with my mouth parts. That's a spoiler ahead, okay? So if you don't want those spoilers and didn't read the manga, feel free to click off to one of the other videos I've got on this channel. There's tons of them. But anyway, moving on. This is the top 10 of the spoilers you can expect to see in the 70-minute special. Now, some of this has already been covered a little bit, touched on and whatnot, because the anime moves at different speeds than the manga does. But to recap of what happens here at the end of the Swordsmith Village Arc in the manga is that Genya's abilities are finally revealed, or at least some of how they work are. With him being able to eat a piece of demon and gain their power for a little while, it's a bit like Mega Man, but with demons instead of people, because demons aren't people. Remember that. Tenjiro's inherited memory from his father. By the way, this comes from CBR. If you want to read it for yourself, I'm going to abbreviate some of this. But as we can see that the sun breathing technique sort of went through to Tanjiro, and these memories keep playing out in his head as he goes. However, the biggest reveal about how Yoruichi did what he did is coming with the Yoruichi Type 0 training robot. Now, this machine is meant to emulate his fighting style, but as we see, the boys are very easily able to slice off its arms and things like that. So I get the feeling that it's not supposed to be that way, right? Like it's got a secret. We'll get into that secret a little lower on this list. Haganazuka's Beachbody. I'm really excited about this because I don't know how the anime is going to treat it, but we find out that he's completely transformed himself in order to make a better sword for Tanjiro. Like, he's ready to do this, like the biggest, baddest sword he's going to make, and he's transformed his body to be able to make that for Tanjiro. I'm super excited to see how this turns out. Like, the fruition of it. I'm very excited. The Upper Four Demons ability. Now, we find out that Hantengu has the ability to, like, duplicate himself every time his head gets lobbed off. It's a bit like the Hydra in that way. So, but he also takes the form of an old man when we first see him. So it's a bit of an unassuming form when he arrives, which is a bit genius, but also a bit played out, in my opinion. Like, the old frail man's the secret villain kind of thing, but I don't know. The Tanjiro's Blazing Blood Katana. Now, this is really interesting for me because the dialogue that CBR uses here is that this transformation gives Tanjiro's sword the same demon-slaying potency that Yoruichi's, whose blade had also turned red during the fight against Muzan. Now, Muzan doesn't make the sword turn red. It's actually the demon blood technique, I guess. So we'll have to wait and find out how Yoruichi was able to accomplish that. It can't just be the sun-breathing technique, right? To turn the sword red, there has to be something else to it. As with Demon Slayer, there's always layers of flavors to things, you know? But anyway, the Upper Four Demon and his secret ability, along with being able to manifest, like create duplicates or different demons from his head lobbing off ability, some of these demons have like specific emotional ties to him. And so one of these is his protector. And so I really enjoy like how these characters are drawn, by the way. Like, look at him. He's got this thunder god appearance, but there's also a bit of Egyptian there. And I think that's really neat how they mix this visual genre so well. And then Haganazuka's face. Yeah, everybody thought he was some weird, twisted guy, you know, like he had some really like weird eyeball maybe or a horrendous scar, and that's why the mask was there, or he was fat. But no, it just turns out he's just really focused on sword making and didn't want to show his face or something like that. The important part is, though, is that while he's making Tanjiro's new sword and restoring the sword that they found, he's snuck up on by the upper fifth demon. Now, this is how focused this guy is. A demon rolls up on him, he doesn't even notice. That's dedication, man. That's dedication. Get you a best friend like that, right? The Demon Slayer mark. Now, again, we don't know that this is totally universal among all Demon Slayers, but particularly this mark anyway. But it appears that Tanjiro's birthmark isn't just limited to him. And this is revealed through here, is that both Tokido and Hanroji also have the mark that shows up. And what this seems to indicate is that when they're fighting and like, you know, like Nezuko's in trouble, or, well, in Tanjiro's case, or his friends, or he himself is about to die, this birthmark is some type of like activator that releases their hidden inner power or hidden spiritual energy that perhaps passed down from their parents. It's pretty neat. And number 2 is Nezuko's immunity to sunlight. Now, this was not a huge surprise when we ran across it in the manga, because we were aware that Muzan was trying to create immortality, and demons have this big problem with walking in the sun. So it was inevitable that one of the demons would be the one that had this ability, because eats them, gets their power. So the with Nezuko though, it kind of threw me for a loop, because man, that hurts. This cute little girl is going to be hunted down and consumed, And I just get Naraku vibes from Inuyasha from this whole setup. Like, I really hope it doesn't tilt into that in this final season. Like, they don't go full ham into that Inuyasha vibe, trying to cash in on all the success that Inuyasha had. Anime has a habit of like diverting from its original source in order to drive more attention to the original source. As you know, anime is only supposed to sell the manga. The anime itself isn't supposed to be the superior product. But here we are. And finally, at number 1, we get more of Muzan's backstory. Now, of course, this has been scattered throughout the anime anyway, but in particular in the manga, there was a huge drop about Muzan's history and exactly what happened to him. And apparently, he was given the blue spider lily as like medicine to help his illness by a doctor that was so rare and so like well respected that they allowed him to do this experiment on Muzan. And here we go. We ended up with Muzan because of this experimentation, but really the backstory to this guy is pretty similar to Naraku all over again. Killed his caretaker, all the demons inheriting their abilities, his body being full of demon power. It's I don't know, man. It starts to stink of Inuyasha a little bit, so I'm hoping they pull out of that and kind of like self-correct as they go. But who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But this has been the spoilers for what you can expect here in the 70-minute special. Brace yourselves, because they're going to go way above and beyond with the anime as well as with the music. It's kind of my favorite part of Demon Slayer, is that awesome soundtrack. Hey, what's your favorite what's your favorite song at the end of the show anyway? I like the current ending with the Swordsmith Arc. I can't wait to find out what the next ending song is going to be. Feel free to hit like and subscribe as we continue to discover more about this. And I'm going to start reading chapters from Demon Slayer next month. So look forward to that. If you're not familiar with the manga, we're going to go through it bit by bit right here on this channel. Check in the next one.